How are we doing, guys? Welcome to the Let's Talk podcast. And today we're going to be continuing with our series on depression. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the different ways we cope with our depression and how different things helped us on that journey.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning from the get-go as well that these are our own opinions and things that helped us cope through our depression journey.
Yeah.
So, I know I mentioned previously that we've discussed how I used to keep active personally and socially, and how you kind of was isolating yourself.
Yeah.
And when you were isolating and then you did manage to go out and be active, could you see that helped?
Massively in that, like you said, I used to isolate a lot, and say someone made plans, like you text me, say, oh, do you want to do something today? And I'd be like, yeah. And then it could get up to literally 10 minutes before, and I'd cancel a lot. But the times that I could push past that, or that feeling didn't come on me, and I went out and, say we played some snooker or went bowling, just went for a course or anything like that, I'd always feel the same thing, in that when I'd get back home, I'd feel really happy and like, I actually had a really nice time. I enjoyed myself a lot. And then like, remember next time, you're making plans with someone and you feel that urge or that feeling to cancel and be like, oh no, I don't want to, I wouldn't enjoy it. Remember this feeling like you would, and that used to happen every single time. But 9 times out of 10 again, when it came to making plans and going out, I would end up cancelling again.
So when you did cancel the plans, and like you say, you remember how good it felt, and when it came then to, oh, you were going to go out, but you were going to cancel, did you think about last time how good it felt, or do you think you just didn't remember that?
I feel that thought would enter my mind, but it's definitely in the later stages of my depression, it learned quickly how to counteract it and dismiss it. Whereas, say, maybe earlier on, that thought would be a bit more strong and would be more likely to influence me to go out. But as my depression got stronger, that definitely faded out a lot.
Yeah. So I know hobbies help with coping with depression.
Yeah.
So we're going to just talk about a few of our hobbies that we had and have that helped us cope with through our depression journey. Do you want to kick off one of yours?
Yeah, I think what the first one that comes to my mind is that I feel that exercise or going to the gym was something that I started putting my time and energy into. I think I actually started it before I realised I was depressed in a sense. I think I started going to the gym when I was about 16 or 18, whatever age it is you can go to the gym around here. And at first I was going because, I've always been like a slim person, and I wanted to, in a sense, bulk up and focus on that. But then I think definitely when I reflect on when I was depressed, I used to go to the gym a lot, and I think that was very helpful for me in different ways.
How do you think that helped you then, going to the gym and doing exercise?
I think it gave me something to focus on, in a sense of it's like, as in my mind would be distracted and focused while at the gym, but also allow me to focus on myself and a project on myself, as in, developing my fitness and my build in a sense. So I think that was, as I say, helpful because it helped positively distract my mind and bring about positive changes in myself that made me feel good. When I started to see a change in the size of my muscles, or I could feel I was getting stronger or fitter, that then had a positive impact on me.
Yeah. So when you were going to the gym, I know, just going on to the last point there, when you were going to do something to be active, you found it difficult to get that push. Did you ever have that with the gym?
I think I did, but not in the same way I did with like socially plans. So when it came to the gym, I've always had a bit of an on-off. Like for say months on end, I'd be dead motivated, and then it'll just fade, and then I'll be off for a month and go, that type of cycle. But with the gym, I've not really thought about it until you just asked. That was actually something that I didn't often cancel on, and I used to always go after work. But now I started going before work because for me, I prefer it because I like getting up early and getting it done straight away. Because I know in work there'd be times where you're having a long day in work and you just want to go back home after and just chill. But they're like, oh, you got to go to the gym. But then when I was starting to get that feeling that the gym felt more of a chore than a pleasure, I didn't like that. So I sort of looked to how I could flip that to get that enjoyment back into it.
Yeah, that's really good. You've managed to find that going in the morning is a lot better for you as well.
Yeah, and it was nice as well because I used to go on my own quite a bit, but then over the years I've gone with also friends, so that helped, I think, with me, socially interact with people as well. So I think that was a positive from it as well.
That's a really good positive, because then you have the, that hobby you do in the exercise, and you've got that drive to go to the gym, but then you also got the social side of things, would have struggled with, really.
Yeah, and I think going off that sort of social hobby side, another one for me was football. I've played football since I was about the age of 6. Only sort of like Sunday league club level, but that's something that I've always enjoyed. And again, I think similar to the gym, it was something that allowed my mind to be distracted, but in a positive way, because it was doing something I enjoyed and it made me happy playing it. And then obviously there's a social side because it's a team sport. So over the years, as I've mentioned in the past, I've moved around a lot, but that also allowed me to meet many new people and make many friends. And some of my happiest and best memories, in a sense, come from football. So I think there's so many different hobbies out there, and everyone explores and does so many different things. But I think for me, that's why hobbies, when I reflect, I feel are a very good coping mechanism in a sense, because they provide a lot of happiness and positive experiences. So they're just a couple of mine. What did you have any hobbies at all, do you think?
Yeah, so I don't know if you would class gaming as a hobby, but
I would.
But yeah, gaming has always been a big part of my life. So especially because I had a computer and I loved playing World of Warcraft, and obviously it's quite known to be quite geeky, but I sunk so much time into that, and it really helped with me.
Yeah.
First off, from the distraction and really enjoying the game, but then the social side of it as well. So for me, it's like I made friends over this game who live in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
So there's a very good social side to online gaming, and that really helped with me as well.
No, I think that's the amazing thing about, in a sense, online gaming now, is you can literally speak to, or in a sense meet people who you would never meet in a day-to-day life. So with gaming, as you say, you invested a lot of time. Do you feel that did you start with friends you knew, and that's like how did you get into gaming in a sense? And did you firstly get into it because of depression, or was it something you were doing anyway, but then you realized it was also helping?
It was something that I was doing before depression,
Mm-hmm.
And I got into it through school, as you would probably agree. It was around when Call of Duty was, back in the day, like Call of Duty 4, I think it was, and you'd get into like a big party with everyone from school, and you'd do so many games all night.
They're the best.
Exactly. I think that triggered my love for gaming, and then from then I couldn't tell you how many games I've played and all the different games I have tried, but no, I just love it, and I think I'll continue to forever now.
You should, and that's beautiful, that enjoyment. So with gaming, do you find that are you open to diversity in a sense? Do you play different types of games, or do you sort of just stick with one type? Like, what's your favorite types of games?
I think I like the RPG open world games.
Yeah,
they're my favorite, definitely. But I would give other games a try because I like trying new things. But predominantly, those are the ones that grab my attention.
Yeah, a big question that if people are listening to gaming, are you an Xbox man or a PlayStation?
An Xbox.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, I've always had an Xbox. Well, I had the PS2, and then I think that's when the
360 came out after that, the next gen. Yeah, and I switched over. I was PS2 like you, then went to 360, and now it's just not looked back since.
I know, and it's just I think I'll always stick with an Xbox as well. But I'd love to get back into computer gaming as well.
No, to be fair, that's something I've never tried. But I know when you came back, you obviously you spoke to me and told me about how you used to do, in a sense, PC gaming and how much better it is in so many different ways. So I think that is something I'd definitely look to have an experience in the future. So moving on from gaming, did you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, so walking really helped me. I know it's very generic, like just walk into the shops or anything, but no, actual walking, like going on hikes, I think that's a better word maybe.
Yeah.
What really helped me, because again, I always have to keep busy, but I always think going out and getting fresh air, like on my own or with people as well, really helped.
Yeah.
Just to calm myself down. I'd be happy that I got out of the house and just doing something.
So do you think that's what it was in a sense? At first, is getting out and getting fresh air, because I agree with you. I love walking as well. And for me, I feel, getting fresh air is nice. And I know, obviously, when I used to isolate a lot and I'd go out, I'd feel more like free, and, I felt trapped in my bedroom. Whereas when I was walking, it's like, open space and the fresh air. And it allowed me, it sounds a bit ironic in a sense, time with my thoughts, which I know in the past I've sort of mentioned wasn't a good thing, but I felt when I was walking, as you say, on my own or with other people, that helped a lot. Do you feel similar in that way?
Yeah, exactly what you just said. Really, like I think it was the fact that you've got out.
Yeah.
You know, you're out of your house, and I think that alone helped. Do you know, knowing you're doing something? Because I remember whenever I used to get back after a walk, I used to like jump on my bed and I'd be like, oh, that was really nice. Like, I've actually got out and I've done something, and
Yeah.
it felt really nice to just like say be with myself, or again if you with friends, then even better as well, really.
Do you feel it was also in the sense that you'd felt you'd done something with your day? So, say that there was a day where you'd literally sat in all day and then it got to the night time. I know I used to sort of feel like I've wasted the day, I've done nothing. But say even if I just went out for a 20-minute walk, an hour walk, something so simple, I'd get back and reflect, like, I've actually done something. It was like, in a sense, I was proud of myself for pushing myself, to get out or actually do something, because I know a lot of the time my depression beat me down to not want to do anything. So for me, it was a sort of like a sense of accomplishment as well as like I'd done something with my day.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I'd say like Sundays are those days, because I see Sundays, I could just want to relax.
Yeah.
I just want to just not do anything, got work the next day. But I always try to look to at least go on a walk on a Sunday, just so I can say, oh, at least I've done something.
You can't beat a good Sunday walk though, but like since you've been back as well, I think, say going out for a walk now, especially with friends, and I'm going to use you an example, it's also that you make fun memories. So I know we go on a lot of walks together, and for some reason I still don't learn, but we always let you pick the walk, and we always get lost. And that's not exaggeration. I don't understand what you do, and I still don't understand why I still let you pick, because we've gone to go on a 20-minute walk, and then 3 hours later. Best example of a walk we've been on, would you say, was Moel Famau?
Oh, it was horrendous, wasn't it?
Yeah, so as I've mentioned, my nan and granddad obviously live in Wales, and they live near, it's called Moel Famau. You can see it from their back garden. And when I was younger, I'd walked up there a few times, and obviously you come with me a lot to my nan and granddad's, and we always take the dog out and go on different walks, because it's the countryside, so it's really nice. And we went to Moel Famau this time, and I think there's 3 different paths you can take. One's like a short, a medium, and a long. And the short takes about half an hour, medium an hour, and I think the long at best should take 2 hours maybe or something.
Yeah.
And we was like, oh, we'll do the medium, and we had the dog and everything. We only had like 1 bottle of water as well. And we set off and we're walking. We're following what we think we're following the right signs, and then we're getting deep into it. Like so now it's like I don't really feel like we've got far.
I think the realization as well when we were walking, we were with people, and then suddenly we were on our own.
They dropped off. It's like something ain't right here, but we'll keep pushing it. And then eventually we ended up in a field of sheep, and it was like, okay, this definitely ain't the path. So then we was like, well, how do we get back on? We didn't know where we'd come from, and then we just saw this opening in a sense, so we started walking up in it, and then we realized this isn't a path, this is just some random trail. I think we started to have to go on our hands and knees to crawl up. It got that steep at this point.
Did.
So then we got to the top, and then people appeared, and we was like, oh, thank God. And then this sort of young couple came around the corner, and you obviously asked, oh, is it far to the top? And it's like, oh, they're like, oh no, just a little 20 minutes or something. I wish I could meet them people again. 20
minutes. An hour
minutes.
And a half more like.
And so an hour and a half, and then we got to near the top, and again the incline went like that. And again, I think we was literally crawling to the top. We'd ran out of water about an hour ago. We'd give the last of it to the dog. We got to the top, and I think we just sort of collapsed, and we thought, awful.
No. And I think for me, what summed that up is that I have never seen Benjamin the dog struggle ever with exercise on a water, but he was like so happy it was the top as well.
He was panicking. Really, guys? Well, I think what made it worse and what completely topped it off is, we spent a bit of time at the top, and then we walked down, and it was like we were prepared for like it's going to take another hour to get down.
Yeah.
I remember being in front walking down, and we must have been walking only 20 minutes, and I saw this sort of signpost, and I was like, I recognise that signpost, and it was the car park.
The realisation. So for us, it took about 3.5 hours to get up, and about 20 minutes to get down.
Yeah, and so from that day now, never again will I walk up that mountain. It is dead to me.
Ever.
But that's a bit. But as much as it was painful in the moment, it's a really funny memory to look on, and I think that's the point we're trying to make in a sense. So from walking, would you say that? Moving on from walking, would you say that you had a lot of different coping mechanisms, but in a sense, did you have a main one, or does one maybe stand out more than others?
I think for me, the one that stands out more than the others is music.
Okay.
Because I love music now and I love live music.
Yeah.
But when I was going through depression and I'd have to like commute to work or get the train to work, I always listened to music on my headphones. And for me, it was like a time where I rarely listen to music. So I do put it on in the background, but I noticed more so then when I was going through my depression journey, I'd listen to it,
Yeah.
like the lyrics, and I'd get absorbed in what I'm listening to, what was a distraction for me,
Yeah.
what really means a lot to me now. And I think one artist, just to give them a bit of a shout out, is Imagine Dragons.
Yeah.
That I've listened to them from when they first started, and it's just an artist that I can one of many that I can say really helped me, because the music just helped me get absorbed and just take 3 minutes, 10 minutes out of my mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So just going off a lot of what you said there, I'm thinking about my, connection in sensory music. When I was a kid, I just listened to music because I like the beat, or didn't really pay attention. But I think something you mentioned there is, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to listen, as you say, to the lyrics and realize that songs have meaning. And I know a lot of artists is very passionate for them, and they open about their life, and it's a form of expression.
Yeah.
So for you, say with Imagine Dragons, was that why it was, in a sense of you just had this sort of connection with them, and what they were singing, and it just had that, and like you say, that natural, it just naturally clicked with it, and it maybe connected with what you were going through in the moment a lot. And is that why it helped?
Exactly that, yeah. And I think when I was listening to them at points, it'd make me feel happy.
Yeah.
It'd bring a bit of light to my day, what meant so much to me, back then.
Yeah.
So I'd always make sure I have time to listen to music every day, just to get that feeling. And they've got so many songs, but there is, certain songs that did help me more. And like I say, I think it just connected me on that day, at that moment, of how I was feeling.
And I feel music is one of the most powerful things in this world. I remember when I was in high school, we had a music lesson, and I remember a teacher saying to us, what do you feel life would be without music? When you're a young kid, you're like, oh, I won't be bothered. But music is so powerful; it can just bring out any emotion. Happy, sad. It brings back memories, that nostalgic feeling. Like in movies, it sets tones, and when you watch a horror film and the violins start kicking, or you start getting on edge.
That's what makes you scared, doesn't it?
Yeah, and so, but music is such a powerful thing, and I think it connects with our emotions so much. And I think we all have different artists we connect with, and I don't really understand. If I think of the artists I couldn't explain why, but it's just nice to have that natural connection. And like you say, sometimes you're having a down day, just putting music on can lift your spirits, and I don't know, it can just change your whole feelings, I feel.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, as I've just mentioned, that was one of the main ones that helped me cope with my depression. What was one for you?
I think it sounds a bit different, but for me, when I think one of the main things that actually helped me was YouTube.
Was it certain channels that helped you, or just browsing YouTube, would you say?
Oh, what it was is that back in the day of Vine, I used to follow someone, and his name was Daz Black, and he started to post on there that he did sort of gaming videos, and I'd never really interacted with YouTube in that way before. I'd only ever sort of YouTube, to watch random stuff or watch tutorials or music videos. So then when I saw he was posting his gaming videos, it sort of, I don't know why, it just sort of grabbed my interest. Yeah. And then it was around the time that my depression really kicked in, the main trigger went off, that I turned to YouTube and started watching him. And he was doing a game playthrough on a game called Outlast, which is sort of like a horror game. And I found when I was watching it, I was really enjoying, firstly, watching him play the game, but so second, he was very entertaining in himself, and he was making me laugh. And in those moments, it felt like it took me out of my depression, or what was the real world, in a sense, and allowed me to just focus on something happy and positive. And I feel this with YouTube and all different creators in the world, they help people so much with the content they make, because as I say, I think it helps take people out of, well, in my experience, out of that crappy moment you might be in, and for a brief period just provide entertainment and joy.
Yeah, it's like it takes them. It's like it took you out of your little bubble.
Yeah.
That you were in, and just it just got you out of there, just for, if it's for 20 minutes, 30 minutes whilst you're watching them. And it's such an amazing thing to be able to do for someone.
No, it is, and that in a sense is one of our goals with this podcast is if it just helps people for 20 minutes, just by taking them out of the day, or we say something that connects them, and that's more than we could ever wish for. And from that moment of watching Daz on YouTube, I've got now this very close connection to YouTube in the sense I still watch it today. I watch all different creators from like KSI, PewDiePie, Mr. Beast, and still Daz Black. And one thing I would love to do and just say, if he would ever to hear this episode, or one of his fans was to ever see it, and just make him aware, is that I could not thank him enough. And it sounds so simple because he was just making videos, but that helped me get through my depression probably more than I realised. I am truly grateful for his content, and I have now found a new love and admiration for creators from that moment, and especially since we started creating this podcast about how incredible what they can provide is.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think it's so. It's just nice, and I really do hope these creators do hear things like stories like this, from other people like yourself.
Yeah,
that they've helped people, even though they're doing something they love, but they're actually really, really helping people in certain circumstances.
They're definitely, and that's such a beautiful thing, and and I just hope it keeps up, and everyone finds that one thing that can help them. So going off sort of entertainment and media, do you think also that TV and films are something that help?
They help me. I love a good series to binge. I'm not gonna lie. But no, for me, when I watch films and TV shows, I think I've mentioned previously, but I actually have to watch them. Like, they have to be interesting.
Yeah.
I have to be able to focus on them. So, because I'm not one of those people, if you stick a film on and then you can turn it off 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's like, if I put a film on, I've got to finish
You've
it.
got to finish it, yeah.
No matter what. But no, they help me. But I feel like they help me in terms of getting some time out of my day again. And I know we are a big fan of Marvel, for example. So their films, like when I watch them, I feel like I'm a little kid again. So I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I think even when I was going through my depression and I was watching especially Marvel films, I remember when I was watching them, I'd get really excited and like feel emotions that I probably wouldn't feel a lot. Like, do you know, when you're going through depression? So for me, it was... Yeah, I think they definitely help, in my opinion.
I think that's what it is, in the sense of like the YouTube. I think it helps, as you mentioned, take you out your day, but then it also provides these happy, positive feelings because you get invested in this, and like you say, when using Marvel example, I know when we sit down and watch a film, when the Marvel introduction comes on, I can see you get like they're giddy, but it's nice to see like that because it shows how that that type of thing brings in positive emotions, and it's really amazing that you found something that lets you feel like that. And just going off Marvel, they've set out a timeline now that's there for years to come, so it's something to look forward to as well.
Exactly. I'm just so excited to see where it goes, and just to know that it's definitely that they've got like another 10-15 films lined up. It just makes me so happy.
And that's the key word, happy. Look how giddy you're getting now, and that's what more could you wish for?
I know. So I know in the past you mentioned to me that you have a certain happy place.
Yeah.
So do you want to just describe why you call it a happy place and where that is?
Yeah, so what I mean by saying I have a happy place is it's my nana and granddad's house in Wales. And what I mean by that is it's somewhere I go and it just makes me happy. And I think it's because firstly of the bond and connection I have with my nana and granddad. To me, it's very special. And as I've mentioned, we've been very close since I was literally born because of what happened with my dad, unfortunately being killed. And ever since then, as I say, I see them now as like a second mum and dad.
Yeah.
And then they moved to Wales when I was about 6, and obviously I went to Yorkshire. But ever since then, I've always, as often as I could, from the age of 6 till even to this day, I go as often as I can. And I think you can confirm yourself, just go in there. It's just, I think maybe because it's also in the middle of nowhere in a sense in Wales, it just removed me from where we live in a sense. And it's that feeling of detachment. But then also my nana and granddad, to me, are two of the most lovely and caring, happy people in the world. And just seeing them makes me happy. So, for example, when I was going through my counselling program, my counsellor advised a lot to go there on the weekends because it would help. And I would say that was one of the key things that helped me through depression in general, and also through the counselling program, and in life in many other aspects, is going to see my nana and granddad.
Yeah, and I think I can vouch for where they live. It is so like secluded. It's just in the country. I love going because I feel like it just feels like you're away.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're just away from like the town we live in and like city life. You're just completely in the open, and I love going. It's just so refreshing, I think.
It is. I think it's that detachment and as you say, because it's in the middle of nowhere, it's just so peaceful and relaxing. And well, they also make you feel very welcome and warm. And well, to be honest, I think they see you more as a grandson than I do. Now they message you on Facebook and stuff.
True.
You'll be like, "Oh, your granddad's just sent me this." I'll be like, "He's not sent me anything. What's going on?" But that's just, you know, the lovely type of people they are, and that to me is why, you know, it makes me so happy to see them. So also something I just thought of then is that, you know, we mentioned in the past that you went traveling. Do you feel that traveling in its own way was a coping mechanism for you?
Yeah, I love traveling. I love going to see new places, and when I was traveling, I think it was the unexpected that I loved.
Yeah.
Because I think as much as I say traveling, it was also the adventure. So I like to seek to do new things, new adventures. I'm up for trying everything and anything, just if it's safe. But you know, I love seeing new places, learning new things, going to new towns, and having it's like when I go on holiday, I seek to do all the typical tourist things and, you know, learn about where I'm going. And I think that definitely did help me when I was traveling, just knowing that I don't know what's going to happen the next day.
So in a sense, it was that unknown feeling. Did it, in a sense, bring excitement to you? Because I don't know actually what's going to happen the next day. And as you say, it's that adventure feeling.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a good example is when I was traveling Australia. I remember one day I was camping in a field doing farming, and then the next day I was at a surf camp, signed up to do surfing for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and they're so different, aren't they, as well?
And the day before, we didn't know what we were going to do the next day. It's just in the morning, we come across some people and it was just like, oh, we're going to this surf camp, you know. And they were telling us about it and we were just like, oh yeah, that sounds really good.
So it feels like you definitely made some of the best, in a sense, memories of your life while you were travelling. And would you say that you're glad you did it, especially doing it young?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, I would love to pack up now and go travelling again, but circumstances, I don't feel comfortable I could do that because I like being at home now. But I definitely want to go travelling in a different way. So I'm going to go on so many holidays, you know, going to so many different places and just making sure I see as much of the world I can.
Oh, it is. And as you say, making them memories and getting out and exploring the world and having fun doing it.
Yeah, that's what it's about for me. And I feel like we've discussed quite a lot of things that helped us cope through our depression journey. And I think it's worth mentioning these ones that we've talked about are just very personal to us, that we definitely thought it was worth to mention on this podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's a really nice way to wrap this episode up now.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for listening to this episode. If you could give us a like and a share, that would mean so much. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications button to keep up to date with any of our future episodes. We also have some more episodes coming out in this depression series as well. If you have any comments or thoughts at all, just please drop them below or on any of our social medias.
Yeah, and we're available on all social media platforms under the username @LT Podcast Online. We're also available on all podcast directories such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, as well as YouTube. If you check out our description below, it's got all our information, links and more in there. And as Dan said, thank you very much for listening, guys, and we hope to catch you in the next episode, and take it easy.
Yeah, thank you, guys.